Good Sunday morning, Tri-State. This is the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show, and it is just me and the co-host. Not just. I shouldn't call you
right.
I shouldn't call you just.
Co-host.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bobby.
That's because you are just a girl. You know?
I am just a girl. That's right. That's true.
Well, you should be happy to be called a girl.
I am. Whenever someone, and I'm noticing it more and more, when I get called ma'am, I'm like, I'm not a ma'am, I'm a miss. You know, like, don't call me that. And it's happening more and more. I've had people say, oh, well, I think it's respectful. It is not. It is disrespectful to call me ma'am.
So, hey, my wife and I will walk in to a restaurant, and you're going to have to wait a little bit. And there's people there telling her, either they're getting up to their younger, or they're telling their kids get up and let those people sit down.
Yeah.
Get your little butt back in that seat.
Right. Okay? I can stand. Yeah. I can run around this whole building if I need to.
I mean, you're still down the sidewalk. Say you're going into the convenience store, and
they're holding the door open.
And they're holding the door open. Yeah, yeah. They're waiting like you're not going to make it. So.
Well, see, if you start carrying hard candies in your pocket.
But that smart aleck voice you heard is also my co-host, Candace DeArmond, the president of Butler DeArmond Real Estate Network, and the Charlie Butler team. Candace, we were just talking off air, and we didn't talk last week about a really good listing we've got that you just got in Arcadian Acres. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, yeah. It's gorgeous. It's 7613 Taylor Avenue.
The pictures look great.
Oh, it's a beautiful house. I love how they've decorated everything. She likes color, and I like color too. So it's definitely not a boring house. But they've got a new water well pump system, new furnace and AC, new windows, new water softener, new kitchen cabinets and flooring. Everything's been painted, landscaped, new water lines, sewer lines, main sewer line, new windows in both the bathrooms that they actually put in so that there was natural light coming into the bathroom. New doors, new tankless water heater, and they added a bathroom in the basement. It's technically not a finished basement, but it's a full basement.
Right.
It could easily be finished. It's dry, and they've put a full bathroom in there. So it's kind of leaves it up to the buyer to how they want to do that. They want to leave the way it is, or if they want to section off some rooms, because there's definitely plenty of space for.
So it's big enough, sounds like, where you could just, as you said, section off some rooms, which we can't actually call bedrooms.
Not unless they put an egress window in.
Right.
And, but it could certainly be finished out very easily because it is a dry basement. The bathroom that they have there, I'm getting ready to remodel my bathroom because my bathroom it's bad. It just, everything in it's old. It has pink countertops and it needs redone.
Well, they'll come back in style eventually.
They might, but there was a leak at some point and the vanities it's gross. I just need the whole thing. But this bathroom is like a spa. It is beautiful. I went in, I was like, oh, that's what I want. Can I take pictures before the photographer gets here so I can take these back and show them? Because that's what I want in mine. So, but yeah, it's a really nice house. So it's on a corner lot in Arcadian Acres.
Arcadian Acres, it's a great neighborhood too.
Mm-hmm. It really is. It's one of my favorite subdivisions.
Absolutely.
In Evansville.
Yeah.
And I'm an East Sider. I like the East Side. So I am a little partial there. But
it is such a nice subdivision.
It is.
It's quiet. Mm-hmm. So, I've sold a couple houses back there. And one of our clients, investment clients who you work with, before he married his wife, she had a house in Arcadian Acres.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very nice. And we talked about Tim Moll from time to time. His parents run it, and his mother still is.
Okay.
He lives in Arcadian Acres. And but no, there's some very, very nice homes back there.
Yeah.
And good people back there too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a nice neighborhood. I had my childhood best friend, the one that last week I was telling you helped me cheat on my eye exams. She lived back there whenever we were kids. And then ironically, Mason, became friends with a kid whenever he was in middle school, and they're still best buds. But I go to take him and drop him off at this kid's house one day, and it was my childhood friend's house. Same
Really?
house. Yeah. I was like, I know this whole house. Yeah. But, it had been sold many times before they bought it. But, yeah, it was. And
for someone who's, I don't mean to call this a starter home because it's not right. But, and I'm not talking about, we're moving on from Arcadian Acres unless you.
Yes. We're off that one. I didn't mention it also has a brand new roof. So that's also a big new appliance. Everything's new in the house.
And the roofs today are so expensive.
Yeah, they are.
It's crazy what roofs cost. And I know, it's not necessarily the roofing company's fault as much as just prices have went up on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I guess it was, we're taping, so I guess it was last week that the Home Depot CEO, the Target CEO, and the Walmart CEO all met with Trump, and they said if something's not done about these tariffs, they will have empty shelves here in about 4 months. Mm-hmm. They said that they're getting a very small percentage of their shipments in. Wow. So they said by back to school, Target said by back to school, their shelves could be empty. And said if they're able to fill them at this rate, back to school supplies will be 30% higher.
Mm-hmm. Ouch.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so in a very nice home again, but not. I'm not going to put it on the Arcadian Acre scale, but very nice for a first-time home buyer, someone who just needs 3 bedrooms. You got 2 now, something like that. You want to talk a little bit about Chestnut?
Yeah, it's over on the east side,
Iroquois Garden,
in Iroquois Gardens. It's 3 bedroom. It does have an additional family room built off the back of it that has a nice laundry room and a half bath. And that one's been redone too. Everything looks new in it, and really a cute house. That one is one that we had a buyer under contract for it, and she had some circumstances change, and her pre-approval changed.
Right.
So it went back on the market. But we've had quite a bit of activity on it because it's a nice home, very nice home.
And by the time this is aired, if it is still there, we are lowering the price today to $179 on that home. So, and it is 3 bedrooms also. So for someone who's needing a 3-bedroom, and Candace, I know you're searching all the time, a 3-bedroom in that price range, that nice.
You don't find very often.
Yeah.
In a nice east side neighborhood or any neighborhood, 3-bedroom, bath and a half for under $200,000. That's rare, very rare.
Right.
To find.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, Candace, on these listings or any others, and if they see a listing from a different company, if you've been working with us or you don't have a realtor, this is something a lot of people don't know. We can represent you if, and everybody always says don't mention companies, but I mean, it's not like they're invisible. But if you see a house that Tucker has, but you want your own agent that can represent you no matter which company's house you look at, and that agent, Candace, I get that, instead of me telling this because I'm just rambling on, tell people what you do. When somebody calls you up and they're looking for a house, what's your process to be sure that they get the best service and they stay on top of the market?
Well, the first thing I do is I get them to a lender that can help them find the best loan product for them, because each individual, there's so many different variables in a mortgage loan. and with a person's, finances, debt to income ratio, credit score. There's different things that will help make the right loan product. So I get them to a lender that's qualified to do that and that will take the time to do that.
Right.
And there's another reason for that too. Whenever you are shopping, you want to be able to show a pre-approval with an offer if you find something that you like.
Hard to get an offer accepted if you don't have pre-approval.
If I have a listing and I get a contract, a purchase agreement sent over, and it doesn't have a pre-approval, I tell my sellers I wouldn't accept that. We don't know if they haven't spoken to a lender. We don't know what's going on. They might not be able to buy a cheeseburger, and you're going to put your house, take your house off the market essentially by making it pending. And, no, they need to do that first. So I make sure that my buyers do that first because I don't want them getting turned away, like I would advise a seller to do. And then I set them up to where I get them and they get them too. Anything that hits the market, as soon as it hits, they get it sent over to them. And that's after I do an initial search, with the criteria that they tell me that they want. Then we get to looking, we just keep on until we find the right one. And that's how it, but regardless, I guess kind of circling back to what you were saying, if it's another company or even our company and another agent in our company, I do explain, representation and that you can have your own agent representing you in that sale. So that's how we do it.
So when you're only representing the buyer, you have no conflict. You don't know any. You have no fiduciary responsibility of the seller.
No.
So your entire representation is for the buyer only. And so they get, it's not like you're conflicted in any way.
Right. Yeah. Correct. That's exactly right.
And I was trying to think the right way to put that.
I think that's probably the best way to put it. Because I have some right now where I have the buyer and the seller, and there's certain things that I can't go back and say everything that the seller says to me to the buyer, and I can't go back and say everything, I have to make sure that I stay neutral, so to speak. So, but I explain to people, what agency is and how they can be represented still. So, and I explain to them too, if you call the number on the sign that's in the yard, that agent represents
the seller.
That seller. They don't represent you. So they're not going to negotiate things
right
on your behalf like they are going to for their seller. So you're kind of going in on your own in that case. So.
There you can in Indiana, you can represent both. But there are many states where you can't.
Right.
That don't allow that. But excuse me, we were talking. Let's see, Candace. I started to we were talking off air, but first I better pay some bills here. Excuse me. Think about Jeff Bossy got all choked up here. But the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show is brought to you by Bossy Title. For those that don't buy and sell homes very often, like investors do, you have to have a title company. You have to have somebody search, bring the deed up to date, and find out, is there anything wrong, there. And Bossy, it's not Jeff Bossy does a fine job, as much as I kid him, but I think his secret is, Candace, is he really hires good people.
He has a very good staff. Yes, we don't name them off because we don't want to leave anybody out because they're all really good.
One of them was supposed to be here this week, but unfortunately, she had a conflict.
She had a closing.
It was
going to overlap with our time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, she's been Claire Kincaid, who's been here before. She's it's not the Claire Kincaid from Law and Order. She a little too young for that. Gosh, she probably wasn't even born when Claire Kincaid was on Law and Order.
I think she told me she's 27, going to be 28.
I was going to say 29. It's right in there, yeah.
Yeah, I think 27, going to be 28.
Yeah, Claire Kincaid was probably already dead by then. In the
other one on the
other
show
one,
that I don't even remember.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Yeah.
And I'm old enough to be the other Claire Kincaid's mom, almost.
Yeah, you would have been. I don't remember. You'd been a teenager at least.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch it. Oh gosh, I would have been.
You want me to move on?
Move on. Yes,
okay.
Let's move on. Call Bossy Title for all your title needs.
Call Bossy Title for all your title needs, and they are and also sometimes when you're inheriting a property, you want to know what's going on there. You want to know if there are liens, if there may be other heirs that pop up, so if you're, having a estate, whatever, all these things, just give Bossy Title a call, and they have an on-staff attorney too. Mm-hmm. And Candace, you got their number there?
I do. It's 812-421-4000.
All right, and so remember, Bossy Title, the official title company of the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show. And also, we talked about it last week, but we'll talk about it a little bit here. One of our good clients, Reinbrecht Homes, has started 2 new subdivisions. Mm-hmm. And in the one in Boonville, which is called Polton Place, we just, Kathy French on the Charlie Butler team just sold their first house that got built in there. So right away, Kathy did a great job. The Reinbrechts were very, very happy. And, but you can still, that house is pending now, so you could still see it. They can build you a home. They get done pretty quick for a new construction. They're done many times in 6 to 7 months. So, and then they also on very North Green River, north of Daylight, they bought some land there. They've got Willow subdivision going in there, which is going to be a very nice subdivision. And probably average price points are going to be about $300,000 because that is the price point that sells better right now. So they've got many plans, and go to ReinbrechtHomes.com and you can see all their different plans, or many of them, and or call one of our agents. And Candace, how can they get a hold of our agents to talk about Reinbrechts? We've lost Candace again.
Well, because I'm trying to get a lot of stuff done. They can reach the agents at 812-430-1708.
Okay, well, you passed the test this time.
I did.
Okay, and get a gold star.
Uh-huh.
You are old enough to remember when we got gold stars, aren't you?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Okay,
gold stars.
Okay. All right, but and also something that we many times, one of the last things we talk about, but we're going to get in a little more detail today about our program where we'll have a cash offer for your home in 48 hours. And I know we're not the only ones in town that do that, but we're also going to be very upfront with you. We'll come into your house, Candace or one of the other agents will, and they'll look at your house and they'll tell you what they can sell your house for. And so the best thing to do if you're wanting top dollar out of your house is list your property, because, Candace, I mean, many of these are, people call us about, well, I'd like to sell your house, but for us to buy their house. But they can make so much more money by listing their house.
Yeah, they can. If we go in, with a wholesale,
Right.
cash offer, buy it now, it's going to be wholesale. But if we put it on the market, then we're going to get, market value for it.
Yeah.
We're going to do everything we can to advertise it to get top dollar for your property. We have professional photographers we use. We will go in and do some light staging. I have done yard work in a house. Ashley has went over and cut grass and trimmed hedges. We get it done. So
Ashley, there was a window that somebody broke out, and it was upstairs in an attic. And so she goes up there and she fixes it, and her husband are fixing it. Her husband does not work for us. And they find holes in the place. Well, there were bullet holes. So before this lady there, I think there was rumors it was a drug dealer that lived there before her. So
I'm pretty sure those were accurate rumors.
So as am I, but we don't want to be accusing anybody.
No.
So as Candace said, if we have to buy it, we've got large group of investors that will buy your home, but it is going to be a wholesale price. We like to be right up front with that. We're not trying to fool anybody. It is going to be most likely 70 to 80% of appraised value, because bottom line is they have to make money too. That's why they're doing it. And so in most situations, unless you just have a situation where you just have to get out immediately, if you do, as we said, we'll have you an offer on most homes. I mean, now, if there are homes that are, again, we're going to be right up front. There are homes that are so bad or have serious structural problems, things like that. We're going to tell you up front that, we can't buy it. But most is just because they're not perfect. Yes, we would buy it. So anyway, you can contact me at 812-499-7758 or the team phone at 430-1708. And Candace, what's your cell phone again?
It is 812-455-6338. Okay.
So remember, Charlie Butler team, if we can't sell it, we'll buy it. Let's see, what else new do we have to talk about? Well, we talk about, this isn't necessarily a pleasant thing, but it certainly is interest rates.
Yeah.
And I know from, as you know, I watch the bond rates, and the bond rates are still high, and which I think you said interest rates were near 7, what you saw.
Yeah.
So, and people say this to us all the time. They say, well, we're going to wait for interest rates to come down. Well, that's okay, but here's the thing. If you're renting in the meantime, your rents, I can't believe how high it is. I mean, I
can't either.
I really, really can't. And I can't believe how high it is even on not so nice properties.
I know. It's really, it's shocking to see.
Yeah. But anyway, you're paying a mortgage. Whether you know it or not, you're paying a mortgage. You're either paying your mortgage or you're paying your landlord's mortgage. And it's your choice. You can either get something out of it or let your landlord get something out of it. And some of our investment clients, I know, hate it when we say this, but it's true. And the thing is that rent is, the interest rate on rent is always 100%. It may be a nice place, and I'll be 100% honest here how I feel. Homeownership is not for everyone.
No, it's not.
There are certain people, but it is for more than what we see, now.
Yeah.
So, Candace, I think a lot of times, and I know I've seen you do this, and I know I've done it, is we've talked to people, and they say, well, we don't really like the rent, but, we can't buy.
Mm-hmm. And they don't know. That's the...
So what's your process there? You're so active. What's your process for someone like that?
Well, I know that I've said it before. My first thing I do is I get them to a lender that I trust, that I know will go in and look at everything and make sure that they're getting them with the loan product that fits their situation best. So that's key, is getting them in. And, if they do have a couple of, blemishes on their credit or they have no credit at all, I get them to a lender that will help them. They'll guide them as far as, you need to do this and this to get yourself a credit score established, or you need to pay off this or pay this down in order to make your, in order to qualify. So, and, those lenders will kind of tailor a plan to get them on the right track so that they can buy. So that's really important, is getting them to a trusted lender. So.
And one of the things you just said is, and I know we do, and several people on the team use Luminate home loans a lot. And one of the things, they've got some people there, one of the things I really like about them is somebody can't buy, if they're saying 6 months to a year, they continue to follow up with them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they do.
And so if you can't buy, if they tell you can't buy in 6 months to a year, get with a lender who
gives you
a plan.
Yeah, that'll get you on a path to where you will be able to buy.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing, is you want to be sure that you have, someone that will stay on it with you and say, okay, well, here we are. Where's our progress? And let's go back and revisit things and see where you are, and let's get you pre-approved in the home that you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm doing random thoughts here, as we go. But I haven't kidded you much today. So
we only have less than 2 minutes left. Bobby just told us that.
I know.
So let's, know.
So I could, and then just leave it hanging.
Don't do anything like that, because the last one you did was definitely not a good one. Where you left it hanging.
I admit, yeah.
Yeah, let's go on to it.
Okay.
Next.
So talking about builders, we have another builder we represent, Chris Combs at CAC Customs. I want to talk, Bobby. Stop holding your fingers up at me. Okay, so Chris has a new building going up in the Villas of Oak Grove, and we'll be representing Chris on some of those. So he does custom work, does a great job, and calls. If you're interested out there. Those are just the new ones. Just now are going up. I think he's got 2 available right now. But and then Candace, we've got a couple lots available for another builder, Dan Buck in Fieldstone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we've got 2 lots left there, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we've got 2 lots, and Bobby doing something with his finger.
You've had 30 minutes to say this.
Is it time to go, Bobby?
It's time to go.
Okay. Candace, how can they get a hold of you?
They can reach me on the team phone, which is 812-430-1708, or they can reach me on my cell at 812-455-6338.
Bobby can cut out all the so we got all kinds of time. And Charlie Butler, if we can't sell it, we will make you an offer on your home. 812-499-7758. So for Candace DeArmond, Bobby Gates, is Charlie Butler. Have a great Sunday.
The following program is paid for by the Charlie Butler team. This program has been paid for by the Charlie Butler team. From the Kate Foppel Ford Studios, this is Newstalk 1280 WGBF.